History, where two best friends tell you about something that happened in history, and we're ill-equipped to do so. I'm Emileigh, and I remembered to introduce myself today. And this is Morgan.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. How are you on this cold ass November week?
Well, today, as of recording, it's Veterans Day, so I had the day off.
Nice.
And thank you to all of our veterans listening who have
you.
served. I come from a long line of veterans, so I myself am not one because I'm too soft and squishy for the armed forces.
Yeah.
I did think about it.
You know what? My bones creak too much. They would have said, no, you're not well.
But yeah, I had today off, so that was really nice. I got to hang out at home and drink coffee and
What a vibe.
snuggle up with my dog.
What a vibe.
But yeah, it was very interesting being at work yesterday and it's snowing. And I was like, if it was gonna snow today and we already have today off, I was gonna be very upset.
Yeah.
But it didn't snow. It wasn't cold enough to snow today. So
yeah, it actually worked out really good for me that when we this past weekend, Morgan and I spent the weekend together off-roading. Yay for our yearly thing. And when we got back, Nick had to, because it was so cold when we got back, Nick had to winterize the boat and put antifreeze in a few of our vehicles. But I don't know if he just ran out or ran out of the willpower to put antifreeze in one more vehicle because we have so many. He just parked my Jeep in the garage. So I had a warm vehicle running errands.
Yay!
It was so nice. And now I want my spot back because we moved into this house 8 years ago and he promised me I could have a parking spot in the garage, but then projects. So I think I've collectively had a parking spot for a year of that 8 years. And it was really nice to be warm. Because it does take that Jeep a long time to warm up.
Yes. What year is it?
01. It's a 24-year-old.
01. Yeah.
So last year they made that body style. It's a Cherokee, but she's a little drafty. Takes a long time to warm up, and because it's an SUV style vehicle, it's a lot to warm up because you got to get the hatch and everything. But it was fine. I got to take my daughter to dance in the snow. We were not off today for some reason. I don't know. School districts are different. So, yeah. It was fine. Everything was nothing to report.
Emileigh, we have to let the listeners know how the weekend before last went because we haven't recorded since then.
Oh, crap. Oh, my gosh, we didn't. Okay, so they asked us to come back, and we're, squealing. We didn't mess it up. Morgan almost cussed one time, and I didn't at all. So we held it together. We were professional.
Yes. Everyone thought we did great.
Yeah.
People even asked questions at the end. We didn't know the answers to any of these questions, but they still asked like we were experts on this topic.
Yes. I think we BS'd enough about it. There were some we actually could kind of answer in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Or speculate with them. Or have at least a little discussion. We weren't just IDK. I don't know, Google it. That's what we did. No, but it was great.
No, it was really awesome. I was nervous, but I felt like once we got up there and started presenting, I felt pretty okay somehow. I
kept
looking at the people sleeping.
I have a trick that I don't look anyone in the eye, because if I see them seeing me, I feel too seen. So I look at their hairlines. So it looks like I'm just looking at the person behind them. But then to the person behind them, it looks like I'm looking at the person in front of them. And I make eye contact with no one. I just skate over everyone's hairlines. And then look at the, not, you know, I talk about the board a lot. I noticed in the video that Shy posted, we were using our hands a lot.
Yes.
Borderline YMCA. But hey, we didn't mess up.
Somehow.
And in ill-equipped history fashion, we were putting the PowerPoint together the day before. So.
And like practicing it the day of over and over and over again.
Yeah. But we practiced. I've done worse school projects. For sure.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you to the Athens Historical Society.
Yes. It was so much fun.
Do we get into today's topic?
Let's do it.
I'm so excited.
Oh. You seem really excited, so I'm excited.
It's 1961. WGBH. Phones are ringing off the hook at the local Boston news station after airing their weekly book review program. The employees are fielding the calls as best as they can, but they're overwhelmed.
WGBH, hold please.
WGBH, please hold.
No, Mrs. Child is not here for you to speak with.
It's called an omelet man. Yes, in a specific omelet pan.
WGBH, hold please.
Yes, her book will be coming out next week.
No, I don't think she can come to your house and show you how to do it.
WBGH, please hold.
Hello. No, her book isn't out yet, but it will be next week. No, I cannot hold a copy. No, you cannot speak to my manager.
You want Mrs. Child to do... What? Wait, sir? That is not appropriate.
WGBH, hold please.
Sir, please, we cannot keep up with these calls. It seems as though the omelet has blown everyone away. This is the most calls we've ever had in one day, let alone an hour.
Well, we might have something here.
And what they had was America's first cooking show with the wonderful Julia Child, who would go on to change not only the world of television, but an entire American cuisine. Y'all, I want you to know I read Morgan's parts, like, for half of it. I don't know what possessed me. We figured out, we color code everything. We figured out what colors they were, and then I just kept reading her parts. So, just know it was supposed to be literally the other way around.
It's okay, it works out.
It was the 2 glasses of wine I had before this. My kids were on one today.
You know what? Speaking of wine, I made some spiced wine today. So I've been drinking that for the past couple hours.
Hell yeah.
So I'm with you.
Do you know who else would love wine? Julia Child. Have you seen any of her shows? Heard her voice?
I have, I've seen things of her. I know there's a movie made of her a few years ago.
Yes.
That I saw ads for all the time. I know who she is, but I haven't, like, looked deep into her. I don't think I've ever watched her cooking show.
There is no way to describe or replicate her voice. To me, it's mesmerizing. In, like, a very weird kind of a way, because she has this accent, this voice that's almost gasping, and I don't know how else to describe it. That's how someone described it on one of the documentaries I watched. But she just, I don't know. She has the most unique voice ever, and I would just listen to her talk about anything. But being a lover of food, culinary schoolist, I love her. And a couple weeks ago, you know how Facebook is like, I think you'd like this reel. I didn't realize that like all of her shows are just online now. So I've been like,
that's awesome.
Walking around my house, like getting ready for the day, watching Julia Child at like 7:30 in the morning. It's giving me life. And we'll talk about like a few of the movies. I have an opinion of one, but we'll talk about those at the end. But let's talk about Julia. So in her early years, she was born August the 15th of 1912 in Pasadena, California. So she was born Julia Carolyn McWilliams, and she grew up quite privileged, wealthy.
Okay.
Her father was a banker and a landowner, and her mother came from the Weston family, and they were the owners of the Weston Paper Company in Massachusetts. So she was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And she adored growing up in Pasadena. They had like a walled garden with like avocado and lemon trees and like it's a whole vibe. A whole vibe.
That's awesome.
Now she is the oldest of 3 siblings, 3 children, Julia, John, and Dorothy. She was the oldest and she was also the shortest.
Aww.
Do you know how tall she is? 6'3".
No.
So,
wow.
The children were 6'3", 6'4", and 6'5", respectively. And apparently, they interviewed her niece. She never had children. They interviewed her niece, and she was like, my grandmother would be like, good heavens, I've produced 18 feet of children.
That's great.
I love it. I do have, for size, just see how tall she is, especially she's wearing heels in this picture. One of the ones of her and her husband, she's like standing beside him, and they're the cutest thing ever. But growing up, I know she's quite famous for being a chef, but she was not always that. She did not grow up having this love of food, which is very interesting to me because most people that at least I went to culinary school with and, you know, worked in the restaurant industry, they were like, I always wanted to cook. And in her household, they said that they had very practical New England style meals because her mom was from Massachusetts. But in polite society in the early 1900s, there were things you didn't talk about, like sexuality, money, politics. They actually told people that they were middle class. They probably had like an in-home cook. They were not middle class. But one of the things that just wasn't discussed was food. And the food was seen as just kind of like a practical thing, not like we should be enjoying this. We should be enjoying the making of this. It's just we make it, we serve it, we eat it because we're hungry kind of a thing. And she had, for all accounts, a good childhood. Her father was very conservative, and we'll see a little bit of that and how that kind of rubbed her the wrong way growing up. So for her higher education, the Weston family typically sent their children to boarding schools. So for her high school, she went to Catherine Branson School for Girls, which was a prep school in North California. She took classes in Latin, French, history, and mathematics to prepare her for college. And in the, say 30s, not very common for women to be getting that kind of an education. And
Right.
she did a wide range of sporting activities like tennis and swimming and basketball. And she was pretty popular. And being 6'2", 6'3", she was the captain for the basketball team.
Nice.
Because of course
Yeah.
she was.
Right. Makes sense.
And was also president of the Vagabonds, the hiking club. It's the cutest name. So her mother and aunt had attended Smith College in Massachusetts. So after Julia graduated from her prep school in Northern California, she went all the way to Massachusetts, crossed the country, and went to college there as well. She majored in history and again was very active in these clubs, including the Grass Corps. The Grass Cops. Grass Cops, which was an organization that kept students from walking on the grass. Stay on the sidewalks, damn it. Julia will get you.
That's funny.
And during this time, like I said, women weren't taken very seriously. And they weren't career oriented. If you went to college, you just kind of had the privilege of going to college. And then, I mean, you're a woman. So they're like, okay, go be a secretary or something ladylike. So she had no direction as to what she wanted to do after college. She said, quote, she was leading a leisurely butterfly life during college. She was just
floating around.
Being Julia. Good for her. So she graduated Smith College in 1934 and moved back to California. Shortly after, her mother became ill and passed away. I do not know from. She was in her early 60s. And she took care of her father, who was very traditional, conservative, and wanted her to go get married, have a household, children, blah-de-da. Julia did not want to do that. She had this thirst of adventure for her life. And someone put that she was always the bridesmaid, but never the bride. But I think that was by design. She was actually proposed to, but declined. So it's not like she didn't have an opportunity. She said, quote, if I were to marry a conservative banker or lawyer, I would have played golf and tennis and been an alcoholic. So she knew what that life was going to be like for her, and she wanted nothing to do with it. And you know what? I can applaud a woman with a vision.
Mm-hmm.
After not breaking ties with her father, but obviously she's not doing what he wants her to do. In 1935, just like a year after graduating, she moved back to Massachusetts to get a secretarial course at the Packard Commercial School. But after about a month of her training, she quit because she actually found a secretary job at W.J. Sloan, which was a home furnishing company in New York City. She worked there until 1939, when she was fired for insubordination over mix-up with a document.
Whoa.
So,
also,
yeah.
I keep forgetting this is early 1900s. For some reason, I just keep picturing her in the 60s and 70s. I'm like, no, she was born in 1912.
That blew my... You have no idea, because in my head, I'm thinking the Meryl Streep... not the Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep played her in a movie, guys. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm thinking of the Julia Child in the 60s and 70s and 80s with the kitchen and the TV and stuff. But no, this is...
Right.
She's 20 years old here.
She, she grew up, thankfully wealthy, it sounds like, during the Depression, so they weren't significantly impacted
Yeah.
by the effects of that, right?
No, they were fine.
Yeah. It just, I keep having, like, she's doing all this.
In the, like, she didn't get fired from this job until 1939.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, World War One or World War II just started for the Europeans, not us. Right. Speaking of the war, after a couple years, I have no idea what she did in that 2-year time frame. September of 1941, she began to volunteer at the Pasadena chapter of the American Red Cross. So I guess she went back home.
Okay.
All she could offer was that she could type. I feel like she had more to offer, but that's probably all they gave a shit about. And she wanted to be a spy. And she thought she would make a good spy because of her height. Because who would suspect the 6'3" lady to be a spy?
Limping lady, anybody?
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's literally what I thought about. But I really want you to listen to her voice. And I just feel like it's so unique. I don't know if she could have been a spy.
Okay, here we go. Okay, she sounds like someone, like, she sounds like she has humor in her voice. Like, she's almost like she's mocking somebody.
Yeah. No, that's just how she talks. She's, in the most respectful way possible, she sounds like she's always out of breath. And yeah. It's like she's gasping somehow, but it's high pitch and yet deep at the same time. And I don't know how to describe it, but it's unique. And I honestly, I could listen to her tell me anything, but it's just because it tickles something in my brain. I love her voice, but I don't know if that's a spy voice.
I don't either. And I know that she's my favorite person. Why do I keep forgetting her name?
Virginia Hall?
Yes. If Virginia Hall can, like, be a spy, maybe Julia Child could have been a spy.
That's true.
I will say she can pronounce French better than Virginia Hall, who could never get rid of her Baltimore accent.
Yeah.
So maybe she would have been okay.
Yeah, maybe she would have been okay. But the men were like, no.
Yeah.
But she did end up working closely with spies, so there's that.
Okay.
During her time in the war efforts, she was part of the Department of Stenographic Services and worked in the Aircraft Warning Service.
Ooh.
Then she wanted to join the military. She applied for the Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Services, or the WAVES, and she also applied for the Women's Army Corps, the WACs. But she was rejected because of her height. I don't know why they didn't like her being so tall. I have no idea. But she ended up moving to Washington in 1942. And in August of that year, she became the senior typist with the research unit of the Office of War Information. And
well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, she's good at everything she does. So towards the end of 42, she took up a position of junior research assistant with the Secret Intelligence Branch of the Office of Strategic Services, or the OSS. This is a forerunner for the CIA.
Yes.
So she held a variety of positions in the OSS, including clerk at the director's office and administrative assistant in the registry of OSS. And she very vivaciously volunteered to work for the OSS overseas. So they were like, hell yeah, Julia, get out there. And
I wonder if her and Virginia Hall ever met.
Maybe.
Because Virginia also worked for the OSS. Like, after she could no longer work for the British spy services.
There is a possibility that in this lifetime, Virginia Hall, the limping spy, and Julia Child culinary success mingled. Whoa! I love everything about these women.
I know.
So, they sailed to Ceylon, which is now Sri Lanka. And
Okay.
she loved those early days. Now, you've got to remember, she grew up very privileged and sheltered. She did not have a lot of world experience. So, sending her to Sri Lanka was like, whoa.
Her horizons have opened significantly.
Oh, yeah. And from 1944 to 45, she kept intelligence files for the OSS in India. And then in 45, somewhere in there, she went to China. Now, let me tell you who she met in Ceylon, Sri Lanka. Her husband.
Aww.
So they met for the first time. It was not love at first sight. So Paul was born in Montclair, New Jersey in 1902. So he is 10 years older than her.
Okay.
And he has a twin brother. And he lived a pretty interesting life. I'll give you kind of cliff notes before ending up in Ceylon with Julia. So he took a course at Columbia University, then became a teacher in France, Italy, and the United States. And he taught photography, English, and French. So he was very fluent in French. And he was also a 4th degree black belt in judo, as well as a judo instructor. He's a man of many
that's
talents.
awesome. Yes, clearly.
He never officially went to college. He was self-taught in everything except for like that course at Columbia University.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's a very eclectic man, a very worldly man. He is more liberal in his stance, political stance, so the opposite of her raising. And in a letter to his brother from his time in Ceylon, he described Julia as having lovely legs and very tall. And she had a slight atmosphere of hysteria, giggling rather wildly, which gets on my nerves.
What?
I don't know. But also, Julia, in a journal, wrote about Paul, not at all nice looking, an unbecoming mustache, and a lousy nose.
How do you have a lousy nose?
It's just lousy. But she also, they had a weird thing going on at first. So she also wrote, because they work together, guys. He's also in the OSS. I don't know if I've said that. She also wrote to a friend in a letter that he was an intellectual. He was interested in ideas and always trying to train his mind and has a thirst for knowledge. Love at first sight? No. But the more they got to know each other over their years working overseas together, they started forming a bond. Paul then wrote to his brother later that I have grown extremely fond of Julia. She is warm, funny, darling, and intelligent.
Aww.
Paul being a little more world-traveled, and also being a photographer, he would take her around, I guess, when they had time together, and opened her up to going to cool restaurants and seeing how other people lived and discovering this travel and adventure and thirst for life that no one in her circle or family or anyone had ever done before. And her going to these restaurants really, because food was always just, like I said, just a thing.
Right.
But going and trying these different cuisines from around the world opened up a love of food for her. So she found food and her love at the same time.
Both her loves.
Both her loves. So the following year, in September the 1st of 1946, after both of them had come home from the war, they got married. And Paul still worked for the U.S. Foreign Service, and because he spoke fluent French, because he spoke fluent French, he was still very much in the foreign aspect of the government working. And Paul and her father were on, like I said, completely ends of the spectrum, and it pissed her dad off so bad because she went from being a Republican to a Democrat after being married, and her dad didn't like that because he's very, again, traditional, which, you know, to each their own, but it pissed Daddy off.
Yeah.
But that was fine because he was like, I'm being stationed in France because I speak fluent French. We're out of here anyway. No big deal.
Yeah.
So in 1948, so it did take a couple of years to get there, they went to Paris. And apparently her first meal, like there's like an interview that she did that they played snippets of in this documentary. It was a really well done documentary, and I'll link it in the show notes. I think it's just called Julia. But she said her first meal in France was sole in butter, and I don't know the French way to say that, but sole is a type of fish, and it's just slathered in butter. Very simple, but very good if it's well done. And she said she ate that and never looked back. She's like, the fish got me. I found my soul with the soul.
The fish in butter.
Sign me up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even eat fish or butter, but that sounds really good.
I was about to say, the two things Morgan doesn't eat. You could have the lemon that goes on the top.
I'll just squirt it directly into my eyes.
When life gives you lemons, put it on your soul. So, again, she found a whole different community, a whole different vibe of this country. And the French take their food so seriously.
Yes.
And she didn't care about any of the fancy things going on in France. She didn't care.
Right.
She just wanted the food and the way of life, the laid back way of life, and the love of food. And it was a huge difference, a huge change for her, because the French talk about food more. Mm-hmm. They never talked about food at home. And she even invited her father to come and visit. And apparently he just complained the whole time. So
Aww.
She was just like, okay, go away then, whatever.
That's sad.
I know. I think she tried and probably loved her father dearly, but at the same time just couldn't.
They couldn't connect. They were too different.
Yeah. And it was in Paris that she decided she was going to learn how to cook properly. She never really had a reason to up until now.
Right.
So she enrolled in Le Cordon Bleu. Just willy-nilly.
Wow.
And it's because she had been working in the war. There was a bill that sponsored GIs to learn how to cook at Le Cordon Bleu.
Oh, that's cool.
So she was a GI. So she was with 11 other GIs, and she was the only woman. And the French back then, in 48, this was a man's job.
Yeah, very patriarchal.
They literally were like, you women, you silly women, the spatulas are too heavy for you. The pots are too heavy for you. You poor little thing.
So frail. Cannot handle the heat.
Tell 6'3" Julia she can't pick up the pot, okay? Like, tell her. She took to it like white on rice. Like it was her. It was within her the whole time. And bless her, she would go to school, and then she would run home for lunch, make an elaborate meal for Paul, because she's taking care of her hubby.
Right.
And then go back to school.
That's amazing.
And y'all, they were so madly in love.
Aww.
People literally in the interview, when they were being interviewed, they were basically making googly eyes at each other all the time. They were like big heart eyes. And I have so many pictures. Y'all, it is so nice to hear of a nice husband in history.
It's been a while since we've talked about a good husband.
Yes. Oh, we love a Paul. So, also, in the middle of this documentary, this is a trigger warning right now, guys. Just a naked picture of Julia for some reason. I saw Julia titties, and I have no idea why.
How
I know
random.
they were talking about Paul. And also, she has some very sage advice for maintaining a healthy relationship. You have to maintain the 3 F's.
Yeah.
You have to feed your man, you have to flatter your man, and you have to fuck your man.
Is that why she was naked?
I guess. Listen, she came home, made those good meals, and she flattered and fed. She got to do the 3rd. I was really not expecting that part of the documentary.
That's so funny.
So, during this time, of her life in Paris, she met Simone, or Simca, is what they called her, Simca Beck, and Louisette Bartol. And Simca and Louisette had been writing a French cookbook that they wanted to market to the Americans. And Simca and Julia became close friends during this time. And they were like, hey, you want to collab on this book? Because if we're going to market to Americans, we need an American perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So why would they do that? Because the 50s was a vast hellscape for American cuisine.
Yeah.
We're talking the beginnings of packaged and frozen food, everything convenient, everything Jell-O for some reason, Spam and Jell-O, fish and Jell-O, ham and Jell-O.
Oh, what do they call it?
Jell-O salads?
Yeah, no, there's something
Jell-O.
They would call like meat and Jell-O. What do they call it?
Hot dogs and Jell-O. I'm sure
mayonnaise
someone put an onion ring.
And celery and lots of olives for some reason. Do I need to stop?
You can go on. I'm just I'm imagining the old culinary books that I used to read, and I would see pictures of these monstrosities, and it's just they get worse and worse. It's not even unflavored. It's like green Jell-O with a hot dog in it. It was awful.
Aspic.
That's
what they would call it, aspic.
Yeah, because you spick it back out into the trash can.
There's a TikToker I watched named B. Dylan Hollis. He's great. He makes like old recipes.
Oh, I love him. I love him.
There's this one he's making an aspic, and he said it's a few steps above a feet pick.
He's so funny.
I
Shout
love
out to him. We love him.
Go watch him.
I want his cookbook. I want his cookbook.
I have
so
the
bad.
first one. I bought it at Target.
I want it. I want it so bad. Okay. So anyway, just imagine a hot dog and tuna salad in green Jell-O.
Ugh.
That was the 50s for American cooking.
Ugh.
And it's so bad. Sorry to gross you out, guys. We grossed ourselves out.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess Simca was like, that looks like fuckery over there. Let me fix it for you. And even, it's not that there weren't cookbooks. It's that there were cookbooks that were 5-minute meals, how to make everything convenient and fast.
Casseroles.
And packaged. And it was the beginnings of processing things. I mean, yes, things are super, super processed now, but you have to remember that in the 50s, we did not have the way to get fresh fruits and vegetables all over the world like we do now.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't just walk into Walmart in the middle of December and have bananas and apples and lettuce. Like, it just didn't happen. Everything was still very seasonal. So if you wanted bananas, apples, and lettuce, it was somehow going to be processed or frozen.
Yeah.
If you wanted it in the off season. We've come a long way, even though we've also come a long way in the wrong ways as well.
Yes.
I won't get on my soapbox about food. So, they could turn into a whole other episode. Nothing to do with, well, actually history, but depressing. Anyway. So, Simca was very old school. And Julia was just a force to be reckoned with in general. She was very opinionated and boisterous. And they were both not, quote, easy women.
Mm.
But I think that made them work pretty well together because they were rigorous. They, when Julia came onto the cookbook, she realized that coming from a housewife's, because she was a housewife, perspective, coming from that perspective and not jumping into the cooking game until quite late in her life.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking like, I mean, if it was 38, she was almost 30 years old when she came into this cooking era of her life, that the French cookbooks did not explain near enough for a beginner.
Right.
And they would just assume that you knew how to do this, and she was lost. So the cookbooks that she was like, look, we need to explain everything. We need to have these. It's like I'm there holding your hand through this whole thing. And we're going to explain not just what to do, but why we do it. What happens in this process, why we braise this duck the way we do, why we stir the gravy for this amount of time, what happens chemically to do this, and why we're doing it and what we're doing, which was unheard of.
Yeah.
And they would make these recipes over and over and over and over again to make sure they were foolproof and worked. So lots of hard labor going into these. If something went off, she threw it away and started again. And she had apparently some American friends that wanted to learn how to cook. And she was like, I don't think I'm ready to teach anyone yet, other than, you know, obviously through a book. But like, so
like
the three
give
of
a demonstration.
them, right? The three of them actually started a little cooking school. So with Louisette and Simca, she was able to learn those skills of like presenting and teaching and showing people how to do things. So Paul's job threw a little wrench into everything. And they had to move to Marseille. And the book wasn't finished, but they had someone that was interested in it. So they finished this book by mail.
Oh my God.
Each of them would come up with recipes, test it out, and mail it to the other one to try out. At the same time, she was mailing another recipe to her sister because her sister was an American housewife.
Mm-hmm.
She grew up, she got married, had children, and was a housewife. So she had her sister to be like, hey, try this recipe. Let me know if it's doable for you and what's available to you. What is your skill set as someone who also didn't grow up cooking? Let me know. So her sister would try out her recipes for her. It took them 12 years to write this book.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And when it was finally done, they mailed it to Houghton Mifflin.
Yeah.
And Houghton Mifflin was like, it's too large. The housewives would be intimidated by it.
Oh my God. After
Does
12
that not
years.
make you want to riot? Also, how little do you think of us housewives that we can't read? Like,
Oh, this book,
oh,
it's too big.
you explained the creme brulee in such detail. I cannot keep up.
What are words? It's not like I graduated high school.
How do I... You explained why we braise a duck? Bitch. I was mad.
Oh, man. I have several cookbooks now that are hefty. And I'm not intimidated by them because they're organized and I can just flip through and find the recipes I want.
Yeah. And I love this idea because the book is about teaching a country an entire other country's cuisine, which is, quite frankly, complicated.
Yeah.
French cooking is complicated. Americans, and I think it was dumbed down just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a beginner's book, not dumbed down, but simplified, I guess is a better way to put it. Simplified a bit for the market they were trying to target. And they, Houghton Mifflin was like, nah, the women could not. So, unfortunately, within Paul's career, we are now looking at the McCarthy era.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was a communist.
Yep.
So he got called back to, I don't know exactly the circumstances of what happened. It's not really important, but he got called back to Washington. He got accused of being a communist and also got accused of being gay, which...
He was married.
Even if he was, listen, he was still getting it. Even if he was still getting it, and good for him. But he was like, nah, look at my tall wife.
Yeah.
My tall, leggy wife. So
legs for
really
days.
Liked her legs. Legs for days. He was a leg man, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it pissed him off because he was getting tired of it anyway.
Yeah.
So he took an early retirement, and they moved back to Massachusetts. I think they moved to Cambridge. So they were a little concerned about what they were going to do because now Paul was unemployed. Yes, he had retirement, but it's expensive to live.
Yeah.
To exist. And an editor at Knopf, it's Knopf, that book place.
Yeah. Knopf.
An editor, Knopf, it's hard to say, guys. So she saw the book. She got a copy of it somehow. I don't know how. Her name was Judith, and she was an editor, and she was like, this book is taking a course, a basic course at Le Cordon Bleu. It's incredible. And she went to the publisher and she was like, hello, sir, we need to publish this. And he was like, I mean, I'm not convinced by the book itself, but your enthusiasm's real cute. So we'll take a little chance on it. But if anyone buys this book, I will eat my hat. That's what he said.
Okay.
That's
not condescending at all.
A bit of a quote. Oh, no. He was like, I just love your enthusiasm with this project, but if anyone buys this book, I will eat my hat. Okay, fuck off. But anyway, Julia was ecstatic. It was 1961 now, and Mastering the Art of French Cooking was finally published. Her and Simca and Louisette, which Louisette never really comes back into the picture, so just know she was there. It's out in the world, and they did something that wasn't actually popular to do or common to do at the time. They went on a teeny tiny little book tour to try to promote the book.
Yeah.
And while on this book tour, she was invited onto a program for WGBH TV, which is in Boston. And at the time, she was asked to be on a book review segment. They just talked about books. Let's think like book review is in like Grapes of Wrath book review. Very stoic and intellectual books we're reading.
Okay.
Okay. But, she was asked to be on there. And she called up the station and was like, hello. You know how I don't know. Yeah. I can't make it.
I think that was a pretty good impression. Hello.
Hello. I need a hot plate for tonight. And they were like, what? We don't really do demonstrations. She's like, okay, but I need a hot plate for tonight. She was like, no, I'm going to need that damn hot plate. She insisted, and they were like, fine.
Your impression of her is amazing.
Thank you. I watched a lot of videos recently. So, she wanted this hot plate. She brought her pans, and she just made an omelet. She just made a normal omelet. Simple, light, fluffy. The host got to eat it for the first time. Remember, he's drowning in Jell-O salads, whatever the word was.
Aspic.
Aspic. He's been drowning in aspic his whole life. He eats a fresh egg the first time.
A Julia Child omelet. Oh my God.
Yeah. And he's like blown away. He's like, this is so freaking good. And it just like the concept. I know we think about it now. There's a whole Food Network.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't exist. So people watching this, this program are like, whoa, we just watched someone cook on TV and it was cool. And after the omelet, shock, the phones were ringing off the hook at the station. Now, this is a teeny tiny station. They were like scraping by. They were living like, the station was living paycheck to paycheck, basically. Yeah. Let's think about that. And they were like, we need to jump on this while we can. So, and remember, she's living in Massachusetts, so it's really not that big a deal to be in Boston. And she was like, they were like, how would we like to film a couple of these? Let's give you like 4 pilot episodes and see how it goes. See if it, if it sticks, if it lands. The first program started in 1963, and it would remain on the air for another decade.
Wow.
And that's the first iteration. It was called The French Chef, and it would go on to get national and international recognition. Now, I am going to talk about the show itself, if y'all haven't seen it. The first ones are in black and white, which I think is really cool because you can, I don't know, black and white's a whole vibe. But she wanted to make a show that would show people how to make beautiful and delicious food from what you could just find at your dang grocery store. Mm-hmm. She wanted it to be accessible.
Yeah.
And she was the first woman to be teaching like this because at the time, women were just basically figurines. We were just Barbies on TV. We were pretty. Mm-hmm. We were housewives. We had nothing. All TV shows were like, except for obviously Betty White, which go listen to that episode. Yeah. But most of the time women were there for our looks.
Yeah.
So they offered her $50 a show, and they were like, well, shit, we don't have a place for you to cook. SOS, send help. And the Boston Gas Company, actually, they were like, we've got this test kitchen. It's up like 3 flights of stairs, but like it's got a really flat floor. I guess they use it to like test natural gas. I don't know.
Yeah, like I guess.
Anyway,
like will appliances work with the natural gas?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Yeah. So they were like, "You're welcome to come film here," but they had to like carry all of the cameras up 3 fire escapes.
Also,
so bad.
I looked up how much $50 was worth in 1963. Yeah. It's about $529 today.
You know, it's not bad.
I feel like
for a pilot,
I don't know. I feel like it's a little low, but I mean, this
low.
was like a very local station, so that makes sense.
It's very local and also very experimental.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know if it was actually going to stick. Surely to goodness, they paid her more afterwards, and I have no idea what it was, but it was just for those few at the time.
Yeah.
So they were like, listen, we're going to be so for real with you right now. We are low budget. The tapes are the tapes. We can't really cut them and edit them or fix them. There's no editing. Whatever happens, happens on this show. Mm-hmm. So she had to sit there and make an outline and type it out and make the schedule for the show. And she had to ad-lib endlessly. She just rolled with it. And Ruthie Lockwood was the producer, and she helped her out a lot. And together they kind of figured out kind of a system, because they had to have food. If you watch the show, I don't think most people know exactly what entails when it comes to prepping for those shows, but I notice everything because I've been in the kitchens like that before. They have to have every stage ready.
Yes.
So if you want a turkey, you've got to put a turkey in the oven 3 hours beforehand. So by the time you time it right, you prep the turkey live, you put that turkey in, you pull out the other turkey that's done, and you're like, looky here.
Right.
If a souffle collapses, it's on tape. And it's whatever. Mm-hmm. But you have to plan it out like that. And apparently the microphone would like shock her leg every time she bumped against the oven. So that's fine. Who needs that leg?
Oh, geez.
And they had idiot cards because she said she could not tell time at all. So they'd say like, slow down or speed up a little bit or wipe the sweat off your eyebrow or don't hit the microphone, please.
But I mean, like, she's not a trained TV personality. She was a special agent turned amateur chef turned TV host.
Author.
Yeah.
Like, wild. And I thought it was really cute. Someone who worked on the crew was like, yeah, we always got to eat the food on lunch break. And then at the end of the day, and it was always really good.
I bet. Oh, man.
I bet. Listen, I was never like a starving culinary school kid because I always just ate the leftovers from school. Like, I was well fed. I gained weight in college.
Yeah.
And I was so broke.
See, most people gain weight in college, but not because they're eating the leftovers from their projects.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I ate lots of leftovers from my projects. So, throughout this whole process in the beginning, actually throughout the whole process, forever. Remember, Paul's retired. He's helping in the background. He is always there. They were always together. They were a unit.
Oh.
They were a we. He was like, he helped with research and cue cards and sharpened knives and washed dishes and made sure everything that needed to happen happened. Paul was very proper and critical, and people were scared of him. So he was like, you do this for my wife. And I don't really know exactly how to say it. I think she called it Pisky was her nickname for him.
Oh, that's cute.
And it's cute. So, but he also was very not typical for that time because he pushed her in everything and loved watching her eclipse him in every way. And he was just like, go, honey.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes. She apparently was unable to have children, but did have nieces and nephews that she loved dearly and treated them like children to her. So, in the show, to describe it, I know we've talked about how she was on the show, but the show itself, she wanted you, it was just based on her book, she wanted you to know why and how. So if you watch these shows right now, you're going to learn something. If she would make a mistake, she would show you exactly how to fix it or make it into something else entirely. She was very theatrical, and she would tell you straight up, this is where you taste it to see if it needs more salt. Does it need more pepper? This is why you do this. And people were mesmerized by her. I'm mesmerized by her. And she changed the entire landscape of American cuisine because people were like, oh, we can make more than the stupid Jell-O shit. We can. An interviewer asked her, would I make a good cook? And she said, well, if you're hungry, yes. And throughout the process of her shows, she stayed fairly humble, and she would not endorse products at all.
Yeah.
They had to mask all of the brands, and she didn't want anyone to buy their way into the show.
Right.
And the show would go on to win a Peabody and Emmy Award.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's time for Mastering the Art of French Cooking, Volume 2. Book 1 was never translated into French. So there's like, Julia really doesn't have any impact in France.
Right.
Which I feel like if you grew up and live in France, you probably wouldn't necessarily need a book like that.
Yeah, because it's like more of the foundations of French cooking.
It is. Yeah. So when they went to write with Simca book 2, Julia thought she should get more than 50% because she's bringing this entire fan base with her that's going to buy the book. And Simca, there was some pushback, of course, but eventually Simca folded. And then for the book, there was a photo shoot. Simca was not included, and it hurt. I mean, it would hurt. Yeah. I mean, that's a couple decades long friendship there.
Yeah.
And it's not that they ever stopped being friends, but the relationship became very frayed.
Yeah.
And then Julia went on and would write books on her own. And that's Simca comes back in the future. Don't worry too much. But like there was some tension there.
When I'm seeing I Googled Mastering the Art of French Cooking, and you can actually buy it on Amazon.
Yeah.
This one was published in 1983. But in the cover, Julia Child is at the top in very big lettering. And then you have the title. And then in much smaller print, you have Louisette Berthold. And then below her, Simone Beck.
Yeah. There were some changes. And I don't know if... this is speculation. I don't know if it was 100% her. I don't know if it was agents. I don't know if it was Paul. I don't know what it was.
Right.
But something caused a bit of a rift.
Yeah.
There. So she had other television series that she was on. Cooking with Master Chefs. And Julia Child and Jacques Pepin, Cooking at Home. The one with Jacques Pepin would go on to win a Daytime Emmy Award as well.
Okay.
But on one of the times with Jacques Pepin, I love his name, they were about to go on air, and she cut the shit out of her finger.
Oh, no.
Like it was holding on by skin.
Oh, jeez.
Kind of, like, sliced it off. And they, like, put it back together and wrapped a towel around it. And then they were like, what are we going to do? And she was like, nothing. Jacques is going to go cook. I'll taste and chop some lemons and do whatever. And then go on with life. I'll taste it. No big deal. I don't need to. We got another chef in the kitchen. I don't need to cook it. So they just like went about, and I saw a little clip of it, and he was like, and we're gonna dress the meat. And she was like, oh, well, I seem to have cut my finger a little bit. I'm going to let you do the dressing and, whatever. And played it off beautifully, because accidents do happen in the kitchen.
Right.
Guys, do not judge any chef for cutting their finger. My chef in culinary school was literally like, it's not if you cut yourself, it's when and how bad.
Yeah.
So
I'm not even a chef, and I have scars on my hands from cooking accidents over the past decade, like it's
plenty.
It happens.
It happens. So I don't know if it was like a week. The next day, okay, sorry. I need to back up. Right after they stopped taping, she went to the hospital and got 5 stitches.
Wow.
It was so bad. And then the next day, she went on TV, like a live TV interview. And they were, laughing it off. And they were like, did your finger end up in the food? Like, they were like, what happened? And then I don't know if it was like a couple days or however long it was, but the Dan Aykroyd show, somebody dressed up like Julia Child did the, I'm Julia Child, voice. And like pretended to cut their finger and bleed all in the food. And like, she said it was so funny that apparently she taped it and would show her guests when they showed up at her house.
That's how you know you've made it big, when comedians make fun of you.
Yes. And the dude was wearing, it was like a guy, and he was wearing a wig, and he's going, oh no, why is everyone so blurry now? It was so funny. So, in 1968, so we might have backed up a little bit. It's really hard. The timeline, it was a bit fluid, guys.
Yeah.
So in 1968, she found out that she had breast cancer.
Oh, no.
She never complained. She kept it very quiet. She went and had she had a mastectomy on her left breast. And apparently there was a moment where she was like, after the surgery, sitting in the bathtub and like had a scar from like her shoulder close to like her belly button. It was like a big scar.
Yeah.
And she was like sobbing.
Of course.
And Paul came in there and was like, what's wrong? And she's like, how could you ever love me when I look like this? And he said, I know I'm laughing, but like he said, I didn't marry you for your breast. I married you for your legs. She said she never gave it another thought again. She's like, good enough for me. There we go.
The legs are intact. Good. Leggy. Okay, great. We're still
leg
good.
man. Leg man.
That's so funny.
And what she needed in that moment was a good laugh, and I bet she got it.
I mean, it's reassuring. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of a joke at her expense, but not like not punching down in any way. That's sweet.
Perfect. So she was also very strongly pro-choice. And she was a part of the board of advocates for the Planned Parenthood in, I forget which city, but she actually risked her reputation to make sure that her opinion about this was known.
Yeah, because that was not very popular in the 60s.
Yeah, not at all. And then there were some growing criticisms about her, and it wasn't necessarily criticisms about her, but she was very make a fancy meal with what you can get out of your grocery store.
Yeah.
And a new generation was coming in that had the mindset of, no, to make a good meal, you need to have the best ingredients from small businesses that weren't necessarily very attainable. And though I can see both stances,
yeah,
I don't think they always apply in every situation.
No, and
So,
Julia has her brand, and that's what she's going to stick with.
yes. So there were some that were very critical of her. She's also getting up there in age, according to TV people. So in 1980, PBS did not air her show across the country. I think they made it optional that, stations could show it or not show it. And it had to do with, her gender and age.
That's crazy.
They were phasing her out. And it's like, let the woman cook.
Also,
so she was like,
I just have to say that's so crazy
ahead,
because
yes.
like in that decade, the Golden Girls became like one of the number one TV shows on broadcast.
Yeah. Yeah. But those freaking norms were still, they had a hold on them all.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, let's see. In 1980, she would have been,
68, right?
68. Almost 70 years old. And so she was like, fine. I quit.
Wow.
I quit. So she went to go work for Good Morning America.
Wow.
Where she had a bigger audience, but she had to do an entire dish in 3 minutes. She only had a 3-minute slot. And she did that for a couple years. Apparently she was very flirty, even at 75. I love her.
That's great.
She was a little naughty. But she had this people still loved her, and she was still on TV. Much like Betty White, in her older years, it did not stop her at all.
You think nowadays, like Martha Stewart still has she's in her 80s, isn't she? And she still has a really strong presence on TV.
Have you seen videos of Martha Stewart when she was young?
Uh-huh.
No wonder she got popular. That's all I gotta say.
She's a beautiful lady.
She's a beautiful lady now, but
yes.
I had no idea. Also, I love watching little snippets of her show where it's something like back in the day, it just goes wrong, and she's like, you know what, we'll just do this and nobody will know. It's fine. Pour a little wine, no one will know. And I'm like, what a vibe, Martha.
Yes.
I love you. But anyway, sorry, I went on a little tangent there. So, growing up at the time that she did, she probably did not have the best raising when it comes to groups of people in the LGBTQ plus community.
Mm-hmm.
And it is said that she would use not horrible words, but kind of derogatory words, probably from what I can tell in ignorance kind of a way.
Yeah.
And her lawyer, who she had no idea was even gay, ended up passing away from AIDS in the 80s. And she loved this man. And she would, bravo to someone in their 70s, 60s, 70s. She was like, you know what? I'm going to do an AIDS benefit because people need to be taken care of.
Wow.
So, not saying that she ever, disliked gays, but I think she had a little bit of a revelation there.
Yeah.
And I love that. A woman that can evolve.
Exactly. We all make mistakes and we're all products of our cultures. What's important is that we understand, this part of my culture isn't very accepting or it can be a little hateful, and then you grow past it.
Yeah. Unlearn a few things.
Yeah.
So, apparently, this is just a total side note. She's just out here living her life now. Apparently, dinner at Julia's was amazing. You had to be there at a certain time. You had a job, and everyone cooked together. And if you were using the knife wrong, she would tell you.
She's it
was fun.
Do you know how I got the scar?
Exactly. They're holding a knife just like you did. So they actually ended up building a house back in France, and they would go and visit. And her and Simca rekindled their friendship, and they fixed their issues, and they had a great last few years. Ending of their lives, they were together again. So
good.
I don't know exactly when, but it was probably late 80s, early 90s. Paul had a heart attack and a mini stroke.
Oh, goodness.
And it left him with what he referred to as scrambled brains. He never really fully recovered.
Yeah.
And that's not an uncommon thing to happen.
Right.
Julia treated him no differently. He was always with her. Even if he was just like quiet sitting in a corner at like a dinner party, he was always there. Always.
Yeah.
And he started having dementia problems and would go to eventually a nursing home because she could not take care of him anymore. And he would just be confused and like, why am I here and not in Cambridge? And she had to be like, it's a place to stay for the night. I'll be right back in the morning. And it like broke her.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. So Paul wrote a sonnet about Julia, and I don't know at what point in his life he wrote this, but I want to read it to you because it's so sweet. How like the autumn's warmth is Julia's face, so filled with nature's bounty, nature's worth. Sweet friendship, like a harvest cycle, moves from scattered seeds to final ripened grain, which glowing in the warmth of autumn proves the richness of soil and the mankind's gain. He's a romantic.
Oh.
Could you imagine having someone who would write you sonnets and then he gets dementia?
That's so sad. Oh.
So Paul passed away in May the 12th, 1994, at the age of 92 years old.
Wow.
So Julia was 82 years old. So what a long, wonderful life.
Really? Aww.
And she was so sad, but she just kept on moving. She was not one of those that outwardly showed a lot of her emotions like that.
Yeah.
And she just continued on to television. She started a 22-part series with Jacques Pepin at 87 years old.
Oh my God.
And they said she didn't recognize her advancing age. Yeah, she just ignored it.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yep. Back in 1981, I forgot to mention that she had co-founded the American Institute of Wine and Food. And then she would go on in 1995 to create the Julia Child Foundation for Gastronomy and Culinary Arts.
Cool.
Which I think that one is still open. And then she was actually awarded an honorary doctorate degree from a couple schools, but included Harvard and Brown University.
Wow. In what?
I don't know. There's too much about her to look it all up. Google it, guys. I love you.
Okay.
So, at the age of 91 years old, her body finally just was like, no.
Yeah.
And she ended up dying of kidney failure on August the 13th of 2004 at the age of 91. So she lived 9 years? 10 years after her husband died?
Yeah.
And which is interesting because he was 10 years older than her.
Yeah. That is interesting. They died at the same age.
Yep. So her kitchen, that was from the like cooking programs, was donated to the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. It is still there. You can go see it.
That's cool.
And back in 2014, she was on a stamp called the Celebrity Chefs Forever. And she would never have called herself a feminist, but she was a huge push for women in really any career paths, but especially culinary.
Yeah.
And younger generations are cooking because of her. Because, I mean, think of the way she shifted American cuisine.
Yeah.
And I want to leave you with a quote from the documentary from someone who has shared plenty of meals with her. I missed his name, so sorry. But he said about her, quote, "She had the fastest fork of anyone I'd ever eaten with." Because apparently she just eat right off your plate.
Wow.
And that's how I want to be known.
Yes.
Give me the snackies.
I will eat all the food.
Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. So that's Julia Child.
Oh, this was wonderful, Emileigh.
Thanks. There have been plenty of movies made, documentaries. What is it when it's like a dramatized version of a documentary, like not docu-series.
Docudrama?
I don't know, I don't remember. But like a movie about her life with someone playing her.
Like a biopic?
But yeah, thank you. So there was one movie that I want to discuss just a little bit, because though it has Meryl Streep in it, and though the first part of the movie was great, I don't like it.
Okay.
And I watched it years ago. Apparently, it is based off of a true story of a woman named Julie, who decided to cook every meal out of Julia's cookbook in 1 year, which is like 500 recipes, guys. She beefy. And at the end of the movie, Julie is, throughout the movie, it is portrayed that Julie is going through this entire thing and everything is hard, and because of course it is, but everything is like hunky-dory and fine. And then Julia meets her, or like talks to her, and it is said, and Julia is like bashing this poor girl for cooking all of her recipes. And it really I watched it as a kid because it came out in like 2009.
Yeah. And
it put a really bad taste in my mouth about Julia Child. And I'm like, why would she not like this woman who's cooking? Isn't that the point of a cookbook? Like, what is going on here? After looking up the actual story, I just don't like the way the movie portrayed what happened. Apparently, Julia Child felt like she was only doing this blog for clout, to gain for herself. And it wasn't the fact that she was like if someone had done it in a sincere way, she would have liked it. But she did it in a way that seemed like she didn't even care about cooking at all, and would be like, oh, the recipe told me to braise, to drain the fat off of this, but I said fuck it.
So she's not even like recreating the recipes in the spirit of the actual recipes. It does sound like she's kind of doing it for clout, if that's the case.
Yeah. She was trying to, apparently, I haven't read the actual blog. I'm sure you can go look it up. But that literally, apparently a lot of people just dislike this blog because of, it says the F word too much, which I know we probably say the F word too much, but in a way that made it feel like she didn't actually care about the cooking, and she would do it wrong, and she would apparently just blog about getting drunk on wine and trying to, it was a lot. And I just didn't like the way that the movie portrayed Julia as like heartless, because even like her foundation and stuff, they were like, yeah, we don't really like the vibe that's going on here.
Yeah.
So that's my little rant about that. Because for a long time, because I watched it as a kid, I was like, oh, Julie is a B word. And she's not. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady that was poorly portrayed in a movie. Listen, Meryl Streep does a great job acting.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal actress.
Amazing. It was all the script, all the director's fault. So that's all I have to say about that.
Well, all right.
Yeah. Socials?
Let's do socials.
Cool. So you can find us on Facebook,
Ill-Equipped History podcast group and page.
Instagram,
At Ill-Equipped History.
Gmail,
ill-equippedhistory@gmail.com.
TikTok,
At Ill-Equipped History.
and Patreon.
Patreon.com/Ill-Equipped History.
Woo, 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 woo. And go cook, guys.
Yeah.
Anyone can cook. If you're hungry enough.
Yes. Anyone can be a good cook if you're hungry enough. I was looking, like, you can find old episodes of her show on YouTube.
Yeah. They're really easy to find. You can just Google it.
Yeah. And make a new recipe.
Yeah. There was one that you needed a duck press. It was a press specifically for ducks. Maybe don't start off with that one.
Yeah. Let's do something simpler.
Yeah, like squish the duck and then made like a sauce out of the blood. It was a lot.
Ooh.
They said it was delicious. Looked awfully red to me. But you know what? French do be doing things.
The French be Frenchin'.
Yeah.
We'll be talking more about the French next week.
We've synced up again, guys.
We did.
I don't know who we're talking about, but I just know she's French. And I talked about French cooking today, so.
Mind meld. We did that while we were on our Jeep trip, and someone was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, well, we speak in code to make sure we're not covering the same person, which is a fair concern. So I said, I'm covering someone, and you said, what, man or woman?
Yeah.
And I said woman.
And I was
And
like,
you went, oh, I said occupation.
Yeah.
And you just said French.
yes.
And I was like, oh, well, I mean, mine's American, but it's French-ish.
Yeah.
And then someone walked up and was like, what is happening right now? It's like, you wouldn't understand.
You just glimpsed into our brain for but a brief moment.
Brief second. Okay, well, we're going to let you go. It's been like an hour and a half, so.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.